Good evening. We're going to start our special meeting public hearing. I'm going to ask that our clerk read the roll.
Boyes.
Here.
Connor. Davis. DeShazier. Fusco.
Aye.
Garrett. Hannah.
Here.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Amobian. Somerville.
Aye.
Okay. We are missing council members Davis, DeShazier, Garrett, and Amobian, but you do have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have 5 items up for public hearing this evening. Our clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 15th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance approving the 2024 Consolidated Plan Annual Action Plan for the city's Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solutions Grant programs. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on June 29th and on Akron City Council website beginning June 25th.
Helen Tomick.
Good evening, Madam President, council members. The City of Akron's 2024 Annual Consolidated Plan prioritizes the budget for the expenditure of Community Development Block Grant Funds, Home Investment Partnership Funds, and the Emergency Solutions Grant Program, all of which we receive from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The goals of the Consolidated Plan are to assist primarily low and moderate income persons, to improve existing housing conditions, to develop affordable housing, and to expand economic opportunities, and also to aid the homeless. The city is budgeting approximately $8.5 million. This includes $5.8 million of community development block grant funds, which represents a 2.6% decrease in funding from 2023, $1.4 million in home investment partnership funds, which represents a 14.9% decrease from 2023, and approximately $227,000 of Emergency Solutions Grant Program, which represents approximately 0.2% decrease in comparison to 2023. We're also budgeting approximately $725,000 in program income in this year. The 2024 plan has among its recommendations the following key initiatives: continuing the Akron Housing Program in conjunction with the lead program, the roofing program, continuing to support the construction of new housing, continuing to support our local CDCs, continuing to support the minor home repair program, ongoing support of the community services program, in addition to the Great Streets program. The consolidated strategy includes a narrative describing the housing needs of low-income families in Akron, the homeless families, and other needs of individuals with special requirements. The consolidated plan is a 1-year budget applying for funding, and this is year 5 of our 5-year budget. We respectfully request consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience or online who wishes to speak in favor or against? I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do." Thank you.
Thank you. And if you could just begin with your name and your address.
And my address is 2708 Berkshire Circle in Akron. And I am speaking on behalf of Access Shelter for Women and Children, and I'm also speaking as the chair of the Continuum of Care here in Summit County. And I would just like to speak in favor of the allocation of these funds from HUD for the services for homeless families and individuals here in our community. We think that these funds will be put to great use to continue to support the services, the continued housing and shelter that is severely needed in our community. There continues to not be enough shelter or affordable housing in our community, and these funds are severely needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone online that wishes to speak? I think I see Melinda's hand.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Again, Melinda Samsel with the United Way of Summit in Medina here in Akron. My address is 906 Morse Street here in Akron. And again, I'm just online to speak in favor of the consolidated plan. Back in 2019, former administration under Mayor Horrigan partnered with United Way to implement the Financial Empowerment Center, of which we do receive usually an annual award through the Community Development Block Grant, the Community Service Program. This grant is the largest award that we actually receive, and it's about 20% of our FEC operational costs. So it is, again, very necessary to sustain programming at the Financial Empowerment Center. The FEC has grown exponentially since 2019. Just to give you a quick stat, as of the end of June of 2024, we have served about 4,828 families have received services that involve financial counseling. Again, those numbers actually do not include any of our VITA or free income tax services that we provide. These are specific to the financial counseling. And, you know, I do know that Mayor Malik has made financial empowerment a priority with his administration as well. United Way is excited for that. Again, but just wanted to reiterate the fact that this funding is about 20% of our operating budget. And again, I can't say enough about this support and the support of the city of Akron that we've had throughout the years. So again, just wanted to ask that you vote in consent and in favor of the consolidated plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor or against? Seeing and hearing none, we're going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee to refer to this item. Kamer?
Aye.
Connor? Boys?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Refer, please.
Okay, thank you. This item will be referred.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 15th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance amending or supplementing Title 15, Chapter 153 Zoning Code, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 153.140 Definitions, and Article 14, Conditional Uses, Section 153.464 Uses Permitted as Conditional Uses, and Section 153.476 Special Standards Applicable to Specific Conditional Uses, to add a definition of and development requirements for vape shops. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on June 29th and on the Akron City Council website beginning June 25th.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. The City of Akron is proposing to amend the zoning code to regulate vape shops to be allowed only as a conditional use with spacing requirements. In the last 10 years, vaping has proliferated throughout the country. Sold initially as a means of quitting smoking, has become popular with the public. Unfortunately, the result of this is that there's been a marked increase in vape shops selling alternative nicotine products throughout the country, and Akron is no different. The City of Akron does not desire a total ban on vape shops, but simply wishes to reduce the number of stores clustering near one another. Objectives of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan include providing well-planned, designed, and located business areas in sufficient size and at locations to service the needs of the population, developing retail areas in such a manner that they do not harm adjacent residential areas, and discouraging the overdevelopment of retail activities that could lead to retail blight. The healthy retail district benefits from a mix of uses and can suffer from retail blight if only a few indistinguishable stores are present. The overabundance and concentration of vape shops has the potential to create pockets of blight, prevent higher and better usage, and create disinvestment by other local retailers. As such, all new vape shops must be in a district allowing retail uses and receive conditional use approval. Furthermore, vape shops would be required to have a 2,500-foot spacing requirement between them. And the Planning Commission and planning staff recommend approval of the text change. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak in favor or against item number 2? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Kamer?
Aye.
Boyce?
Aye.
Connor? Connor? Aye. Thank you. Hannah? And Hannah.
Aye.
Thank you. Refer, please.
Thank you. This item will be referred.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 15th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance amending or supplementing Title 15, Chapter 153 Zoning Code, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 153.140 Definitions, and Article 14, Conditional Uses, Section 153.464 Uses Permitted as Conditional Uses, and Section 153.476 Special Standards Applicable to Specific Conditional Uses to expand the definition of and add development requirements for marijuana facilities.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. On November 7th, 2023, Ohioans voted to legalize adult use cannabis. Akron has 3 conditionally approved medical marijuana cultivation and processing facilities and 4 medical marijuana dispensaries in operation. It's anticipated that 200 to 250 dispensaries will be added throughout the state of Ohio. The state will tax adult use sales, and 36% of the tax collected will be returned to local jurisdictions where sales occur. In anticipation of these new rules, the administration proposes amendments to the zoning code to regulate adult use and dual use facilities in accordance with state of Ohio requirements and to ensure public input and compatibility with surrounding uses and local safeguards. The proposed text changes would add an allowance for dual use and adult use marijuana facilities while applying all the requirements currently in place for medical marijuana cultivation, processing, testing, and dispensing. Conditional use approval would continue to be required with special standards, including state of Ohio spacing requirements of 500 feet from schools, churches, public parks, public playgrounds, and public libraries, as well as a requirement for a 1-mile minimum spacing between dispensaries and another marijuana facility. Considerations for approvals include the impacts of the facilities with respect to public safety, economic welfare, odors, and concentration within the surrounding community. The electorate has mandated that adult use marijuana should be legal and available. The proposed code requirements will allow the city close and ultimate control of the placement and quality of these desired facilities without closing the door to the potential opportunities in jobs, tax revenue, and continued medical benefits that they can provide. Both the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval of the text change. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience or online who wishes to speak in favor or against? Seeing and hearing none, we are going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Thank you. I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Boyce?
Aye.
Kamer?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
And Hannah.
Aye.
Thank you. Refer, please.
This item will be referred.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 15th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to retain an oversized accessory structure at 87 West Linwood Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on June 29th and on the Akron City Council website beginning June 25th.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Benjamin Parker is requesting permission to retain an oversized garage that had been partially built on this property. Based on the lot size, the largest accessory structure allowed on this property is 672 square feet. However, the petitioner's garage contains 912 square feet of area. The property contains a 2-story house with a front-facing garage. The detached garage in the backyard measures 24 feet by 38 feet with a 12 feet peak height. Building materials consist of vertical metal siding with a low-pitched metal gable roof. The petitioner stated that the gutters would be attached to the roof, to the drains for the house. Due to the placement of the dwelling on the lot, the insufficient side yard width provides vehicular access to the rear yard. Prohibits vehicular access. The City of Akron acquired the two properties to the west in 2022 through a mitigation grant from FEMA and raised the structures in 2023. The petitioner is using this city-owned property to access the rear of his property. Since there are deed restrictions on the property regarding development, the petitioner will need to negotiate an access-only easement with the city. While the detached garage is oversized, the property still contains an ample rear yard. This section of Firestone Park is abutted by wetlands to the north and west, and there are no dwellings to the west of the petitioner along the north side of West Linwood Avenue. To prevent further overdevelopment and to lessen any intrusion upon abutting properties to the south, no structures should be erected, nor parking of any type of motorized or non-motorized vehicle should be allowed within the easement area to the west. With these conditions, the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak in favor or against? And before you begin your comments, we're just going to ask that you be sworn in by our clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you were saying, as an easement, the city said that they were going to.
And just for the record, if you can, just give us your name and address
I'm
for
sorry.
the record.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
My name is Benjamin Parker. Address is 87 West Linwood, Akron, Ohio.
Thank you.
Glenn Mortiz from the Akron Engineering Bureau. He's your extinguishing officer for the properties that were getting tore down with, through FEMA. He said that they were going to lease those two lands to me. He didn't say about an easement. Was that? Do you know anything more about that?
Yeah, the lease of that would be essentially creating an easement for your access through there. It's really with that lease.
So I haven't done that yet, and how do I go about that?
Yeah, I know that our development services department is working on that. So you'll work with them. You can continue to work with Glenn Moretz on that.
Okay,
So that's going to be a condition of your approval once you go for permits.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything more that you want to share?
No,
Or-
other than that, I appreciate your guys' time.
Okay, thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Gamer?
Aye.
Boys?
Aye.
Connor? Anna?
Aye.
Thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. I know everyone has heard the comments from the planning department. I know the ward council person is in favor. We're asking for passage this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, July 15th, 2024, during the special council meeting at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a detached mother-in-law suite at 2574 Addison Road. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on June 29th and on Akron City Council website beginning June 25th.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Mahela and Valentine Mitch Roman are requesting permission to construct a detached structure for a mother-in-law suite. The proposed structure roughly measures 52 feet in width by 22.5 feet in depth for a footprint of approximately 1,066 square feet of area. It will have a hip and valley roof built to a height of 15 feet and will be set in the backyard with the front elevation facing north. The interior will contain 762 square feet of living space, including a single bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, and a great room. There's also an attached 304 square foot storage area. Exterior construction materials will consist of a wood frame structure with siding all around the facade and a shingled roof. Several windows will also be installed on all 4 elevations. The proposed structure would be utilized as a dwelling for the family of the petitioners and for storage of tools and lawn equipment. The proposed size of the detached structure would not significantly increase the building density on this large property, and the height and location of the structure conforms to development requirements. The property is well maintained, and this proposal will add value to the property without negatively impacting abutting properties, and the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval with conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against? We have someone in favor. You can approach the podium. Just going to ask that you be sworn in.
Hello, Valentin
Excuse me.
Mitch-Gorman.
Could you please raise your right hand?
Pardon me?
Could you please raise your right hand?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do,
Thank you.
yes. And I live on 2574 Addison Road in Akron, Ohio. The zip is 44313. And we ask everybody, to vote in favor for this project. We're going to do a good job, and we're going to comply with any recommendations, you may have, to do it. Yeah. It's a need for my family. My kids, they want to stay home, and we like to see if we can keep them with us, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions or any?
No, I think we're good. Thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we're going to go ahead and close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report and suspension of the rules. Kamer?
Aye.
Boyce?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, President Somerville. I was a bit apprehensive initially on this, but if, hearing the comments this afternoon from the petitioner, studying the map that was supplied with the legislation, it's this structure will be somewhat isolated, a pretty good distance. It's a good sized lot, and it will be in the back of the property. Plus, I'd like to draw council's attention to section 1, item number 2, which reads that additional dwelling unit be used for residential purposes of immediate family only and not to be used as a rental dwelling unit. And we heard the petitioner commit to that as well this afternoon. So given all that, I believe it's in the city's best interest to move forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0.
And that concludes all items up for public hearing. So at this time, meeting adjourned.
Council will meet in regular session at 6:30. Thank you.